Hello, everyone. Welcome to Changing the Questions, the show where we take a question about wrestling and pick it apart as much as humanly possible. I will be your host for this journey, Dan Peruzzi, joined by the usual co-host,
Mike Miner.
That's him.
Hello, guys.
And today's topic of conversation is, given the past events on Raw, Shane McMahon coming back, fighting The Undertaker, who should The Undertaker's last opponent actually be?
What do you think, Jobber?
Why am I the jobber?
You're Jabroni. Come on. Come on, you J-Brone.
All right, I think we're both probably going to throw out a couple of names.
Yeah.
So the first name I will throw out will be one of the easy names to throw out. I will say Kane because of these reasons. Storyline makes sense. There's all the stuff, all the time with Paul Bearer and the brothers and all this. There's just 2 decades of history almost now between the two. It just makes sense. They have some kind of a finish to the match that maybe serves as a close on both of their careers, and 2 legends of the WWE can ride off into the setting sun and everybody can be happy.
Now, in the 20 years that you're talking about, do we count the one-off Isaac Yankem matches?
I mean, we won't count Fake Diesel.
Oh, okay.
We won't
right,
count
fine.
Isaac Yankem.
Fine. That's...
We'll leave that to rest. We'll let that rest in peace, if you will.
Yeah, okay. All right. Nice. Well played. You know what? I don't know. As much as I agree with you, I think I'd have to take the other side of this argument, just because there was a period of time not too long ago, maybe in the last 5-6 years, maybe even 7 approaching. It's this stuff kind of blurs together with the time now, where Kane was the World Heavyweight Champion, and he had another series of matches with The Undertaker. Mm-hmm. He was extremely dominant in those matches. If anything could have happened during that time, The Undertaker's final match could have been done then. Kane could have gone over at that time as the guy that put The Undertaker away. They've been there, done that. I think they should have pulled the trigger around then. But, at that time, Undertaker wasn't ready to go out like that. And, he just kind of gave Kane that feud.
Well, it wouldn't be one person putting another person over at the end. It would be 2 people retiring, basically simultaneously. Is that a thing that's really been...
Well, the closest I could think at the moment is, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and The Undertaker going out on stage after Triple H's WrestleMania match.
Yeah, but we now know that was far from...
Exactly, it's not the same thing. It's close to it, but not exactly the same.
Like, if they do that and that's both their final matches, that's something that WWE hasn't seen. And one thing I've said on this show multiple times, anything that I can see that I haven't seen already, I'm okay with, So that would be a nice send-off, I think.
It's pretty significant. You know what?
Who do you think?
Who do I think? I have 2 picks. Let me start with this one. You know what? I'm pretty sure you have another pick, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll go with mine at the moment. My first choice, Roman Reigns.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to get a lot of...
The internet is already up in arms.
Of course, because why not?
Mike Miner heel turn, ladies and gentlemen.
Of course.
Just happened.
You will not make me change my mind. You will listen to me, you will like it, and you will agree with me. You will not.
So Roman Reigns, why?
Change my mind. Roman Reigns, why? Because, basically what winds up happening right now is, they're trying to push him down everybody's throat as a face, and it's not working. It worked for a little while, a couple of years ago. It was more of an organic, natural kind of thing. He was getting over on his merits in the ring. He wasn't speaking too much. He's part of the Shield. He was going to be the breakout guy. I didn't see him as a breakout guy. It was Dean Ambrose was going to be the guy to win the championship first. Seth Rollins is the guy that flies around and does his thing. And then Roman Reigns was just kind of the heavy, but he broke out of that group. And of all people, Seth Rollins comes along. He's the first guy to win the championship. But you know what? It wound up being Reigns after that. And weirdly enough, Dean Ambrose is probably going to be the last of the pack. But besides all that, Roman Reigns, he came out on his own. He broke out. So they try to push him as a face. They say, this guy's got something, let's try to push him. But the problem is, it feels too scripted with him. It feels too unorganic. Probably the time that they could have gotten him over was after his assault on Triple H a couple of months back. Right there, everybody was cheering. But not so long after that, what happens? They make him look like a chump repeatedly. They go and make him look, SAWFT soft. And look where we're at now.
Yeah. All right, so that's all criticism of Roman, which is fair. But
But the point I'm getting to,
Yep.
and I can be a bit long-winded in this, and of course everybody's going to say heel turn, heel turn. He's not as big of a merch mover as John Cena, so there's that. So why not give him a shot in the arm by turning him heel, just like they did with The Rock years ago? The Rock was becoming a popular face, but they immediately turned him heel. Why would they do that? To start a program with Steve Austin. So why not turn Roman Reigns heel and put him in a program with The Undertaker? And have him be the guy to end The Undertaker. Have him be that guy. Have him be the vicious, brutal heel that you know he can be, and end The Undertaker. Why not? And I love The Undertaker, but he's not going to last forever. Every man has his day, and perhaps Roman Reigns is the guy to put him down.
Here's my issue with that. So the big talk when The Undertaker, the streak was still alive, was who's gonna be the one to end the streak, if anybody ever does, and how will the person that does that not entirely become defined just by that. You know, there was a bunch of names being thrown out at the time, but a lot of those names, it was, okay, if this is the person who beats the streak, that's going to be their calling card, and it might be a fault, it might hold them down. Lesnar was the talent that could transcend that. If Roman is the guy who puts The Undertaker away, puts him down, so to speak, at what point is that going to be, that's going to be the thing that Roman Reigns is, not what WWE wants him to be?
Well, you know what? I'm not going to take that side of it. I'm going to say that Roman Reigns, he has that as, you know, a notch on his belt, so to speak. He's going to be the guy that puts down The Undertaker. It's going to be one of those things, no matter if he's a heel or face, this is the guy to do that. This is the guy to overcome that legend. He's, at that point, it's basically like a passing of the torch kind of thing. He's going to be that guy that leapt over that wall and took the brass ring, so to speak.
I got you.
You know,
I mean,
Undertaker at this point is a legend in his own right, and the equivalent of a championship match, a WWE championship match, would be an Undertaker match at WrestleMania, and that's nothing to sneeze at. And if you had that match with the Undertaker at WrestleMania, and that was his last match, that's something that's very heavy in this industry.
The only other question I have is logistically, how do they make that work? Not turning Roman heel until next year.
Look, they've kept Roman as a face for how long now? And
it's a fair point.
They keep stretching it out. They're determined. They're hell bent on keeping Roman Reigns as a face, and they're hell bent on shoving him down everybody's throat. At some point, it's not going to work anymore. It's not John Cena. John Cena's a huge merch mover, and they don't want to change the script with him. At one time, Hulk Hogan was a big merch mover. At one time, Hulk Hogan was getting booed. WCW saw the writing on the wall with him, and they changed him to a heel. And he was as popular as ever at that point. And I think the same could be done with Roman Reigns as was done with Hulk Hogan and The Rock. Although Roman Reigns is, you know, he's a bit... You know, he's had a much shorter run than Hulk Hogan at this point, but at the same time, The Rock, he was around for 2 years. He was starting to gain popularity, and then immediately they changed the script. They changed the script on him.
And that's usually sometimes good for a talent. Like, even Austin has said very recently that he thinks turning Roman heel is the thing to do.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, that will allow him to... He'll be over as a heel. He'll be booed as a heel, and that'll get him
like I mentioned,
the popularity he would need to be a face long term in the future.
Like I mentioned a couple months ago. Not a couple months ago. You know what I mean. But look at what happened to Triple H a couple months ago. Roman blew up and took him out. People say, well, you know, I don't see anything that Roman Reigns does, and he goes and, well, you know, he's not brutal. He's not the ass kicker he could be. Look at that example right there. People forget that very quick because, you know, they do so much stuff that's not memorable with him or people resent him for, and he looks like a chump and it's all too scripted. And this is a scripted show, but when your scripted show looks too scripted, come on, you got to do something to change it up. And Roman Reigns going heel is probably the thing they should do, make him the brutal ass kicker that he could be. You know, it's not hard. This guy can go in the ring if he wants to, and he does. But the problem is the way he looks and the way he's booked, and he looks like a chump right now as a face. Turn him heel and then just let him go at it. Let him just brutalize everybody as hard as he can. Valid
points, and I think the heel turn is something different with his character that will probably not have the genuine hate from fans and the heel heat that he should have.
Yeah.
So one other name I had, and somebody you just mentioned, and makes sense because of legendary status of people, John Cena.
John Cena, yes.
We haven't seen the John Cena Undertaker match at WrestleMania. It's a thing people have talked about. John Cena is obviously the company guy. I don't need to, sit here and wax poetic about what John Cena means to the company. So it just makes sense, again, on a storyline level somewhat, that the guy is the one who has Taker's last match. We get to see the Taker Cena match. From a wrestling perspective, Cena can carry the match, I think, just fine. Some other people may disagree, but I think he would do just fine. He won't work Undertaker too hard, because that won't be at least until next year, given that Shane is the opponent this year. So he's going to be another year on the body, so another year of wear and tear. I think Cena could have the match. They can figure out a reason for it. Cena, I've done this, I've done that. Maybe Cena comes back and wins another world has another title reign, so he's, okay, now I'm tied with Flair for 16 championships. The one thing I haven't done is wrestle Taker at Mania, and that's the reason, and there they go.
Like I said, there's something special about Undertaker WrestleMania and going into a match with him, and John Cena going into that match and potentially defeating him and being in his last match, it's like I said, it's special. And let's go back a little bit again. About 13 years ago, 14 years ago, there was a series of matches with The Undertaker and John Cena, and they gelled together extremely well. And Taker is, a little bit older now. John Cena's a little bit older, but John Cena's got a lot more experience. The Undertaker, when he needs to, he can still go. So I think the match would be, very well received. It would, it would be a spectacle that WrestleMania is supposed to have.
And they're trying to sell tickets. I think Cena Taker will sell tickets. People will want to see that,
Undertaker's been a household name for over 20 years now, and John Cena is a well-known household name at this point. And people can argue that, but let's be real. You got Cena memes flying around the internet. You got, you got him on morning television, and and Undertaker's a legend in this business. So, I mean, it'd be a perfect fit as far as, a lot of people would go, I don't want to see that, but, I think more people would want to see it than they would let people believe. So,
it's not cool to let people know that you want to see Cena wrestle.
And, and a side note, people are going to miss John Cena a lot when he's gone. So let's just get that out of the way.
Maybe we'll save that for a future episode.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We're going to save that for a future
episode. That seems like it could be a thing. One more name for you?
My thing is, Finn Balor.
Finn Balor?
Finn Balor, yeah. I am going to say Finn Balor, mainly because they could bring out the demon persona. They can, Finn can go, Undertaker can still go. It's just another dream match. Undertaker's never faced anybody like Finn Balor. And, yeah, I think it'd be a great matchup, a great mix of styles, and I think it would be a great mix of personas.
I guess I could like that.
I was going to say, it's kind of, stretching it at this point, but Undertaker is a bit older. They're not doing they're not trying to hide the fact that he is immortal, he's a man, and he can be beat at this point, and he is a bit older than he has been. So there's definitely the chance that Finn Balor could be the guy to beat him, especially given that he has his whole demon shtick. I guess it fits well with that supernatural thing the Undertaker does. Sorry for cutting you off.
You're good.
But,
You're good. I guess that my question is, how do they go about that then? Do they bring in Finn Balor fresh out of NXT straight as the demon, or do we see him called up, he wrestles for a bit, he's, wrestled a bunch of big names, the Undertaker opportunity comes up, and then he draws on the demon persona. Does he come in fresh with the demon persona, or does he draw on it after?
He's going to draw out of it. He's going to draw it out from, the inside, whatever, it'll come out. But whether it's something like him coming up with the Bullet Club or whatever the name's going to be, if that takes place, and then if that happens and then he breaks out on his own for this match, okay, cool. Or if it's something like...
That would make sense.
Even if it's something like, if he's around long enough, maybe Shane McMahon goes to WrestleMania with The Undertaker this year, loses, maybe next year he brings Finn Balor to the roster, and that's his guy. And then he gets his comeuppance on The Undertaker. It can go so many ways.
I don't think there's any way Shane's losing this match.
You don't think there's a way Shane's losing this match?
It doesn't make sense to bring him in for that. But that's a different discussion for a different topic.
While
we're talking about Shane McMahon, is there a chance that this is the last match and Shane is where it ends? It's a very real possibility. So one
Shane's 46 years old. He's not, he's never really been a long-term active wrestler, but maybe that works to his advantage. But as far as his age goes, I can't see him, doing this forever. I think it's a one-off deal. So I think it'll be an entertaining match more than people think it would be. A lot of people are very excited for this matchup.
I'm not doubting that it'll be an entertaining match, but will this be the Undertaker's last one? And should it be his last one?
No, it's not going to be the Undertaker's last one. Definitely not. I don't think they're going to go out on Shane McMahon versus the Undertaker as Undertaker's last match. There's no way.
They don't end it with like McMahon's versus Undertaker, like just you're gone, some kind of thing like that?
No, I can't see that happening. I just, it'll be a good match, but I can't see them ending it at Undertaker Shane. They still have that Undertaker Cena match to do that we mentioned. They can still do Brock and Undertaker again.
I think Brock and Undertaker. I think we've seen
a lot of times, but
the best of three is done.
You know what? Best of three is done, but they did it years before. Who's to say they're not going to do it again?
Yeah,
they did
I think this era's best of three is done.
But they did the same thing with Kane again and again and again. We mentioned Kane.
Yeah.
So there's always a chance that Brock could be the guy again. There's so many ways they could go with this, but they're definitely not going to leave it at excuse me, wow. Stammering, they're not going to leave it at Undertaker Shane.
All right, if you had to pick one name, who would it be?
You got to make this hard, don't you?
Of course.
Jeez.
Changing the questions isn't easy. It's a very difficult thing we're doing here.
I'm aware. I am one of the founding members. And anyway, I'm putting myself over. But,
you're still a heel. I'm going to say Cena.
You know what, Brucey? Screw you. Screw the audience. I'm done with this. I'm walking out.
He's about to walk out of the podcast. Here we go.
Home.
Bye,
anyway,
Punk.
Like I said, I can see. I'm not going to make an exact pick, but I can see it being Finn Balor or Roman Reigns. And even I'm going to side with you at one point. It could even be John Cena. So
I guess we'll just end this with
you?
We'll just end this with a bunch of names. I think Cena makes a lot of sense.
Cena makes the most sense. I think.
It's WWE will always push Cena forever and ever and ever, and they can never do enough things to make him look like he's the best guy in the history of ever.
For a minute, I thought you were going to say Ryback or The Miz.
What? How would I have pulled that out of there? Where would I have pulled that out? I'm not even that big of a Miz fit that I would say that.
I thought for sure.
All right.
You were going to say Kalisto.
I was not going to say...
No, never mind. Okay,
the League of Nations retires The Undertaker. All right. And on that note, I think we will wrap it up. Rack it up. I'm being heckled by the heel-turned Mike Miner. Thank you for listening to this episode of Changing the Questions. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things that let us know you care. If you're...
Get us over, you know!
Get us over, Mike yells from the other room again. If you're watching on, or if you be sure to follow us on Facebook, Changing the Questions. This is very much more difficult to do when I'm being heckled the entire time. I don't care. I'm going to get through it anyways. Check out our new website, Changing the Qs. That's changingtheqs.com. All of our video and audio stuff will be there, along with the articles written by this terrible Mike Miner person and Paul and everybody else. Follow us on Twitter at Changing the Qs. That's Changing the QS. Keep up to date on all of our schedule of fun stuff going on. Monday we got Time Work. Tuesday and Thursday, Changing the Questions. Booking a Better Wrestler on Wednesday. And Let's Play TEW on Friday.
Bow to my blog post.
Mike's still yelling from the other room. All right, for Mike, I'm Dan Peruzzi. Enjoy yourselves, everyone.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you in a few.
Don't ever want to see you.
Later.